Hello, welcome. This is Maniac Sports. This is Tim's Maniac Sports. Take a lunch break. Uh, yeah, I just wanted to come out here and kind of. I'm going to be putting together a show. Trying to start a show that will go Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. Due to the fact that Detroit Lions on the Pro has changed their schedule. Uh, this opens up this time slot. So I'm looking for people to be part of this broadcast that wants to be that wants to go ahead and continue the traditions that we have. I'm going to talk a little bit today about the about what I feel needs to happen for Brad Holmes and um, of course Dan Campbell to actually be the best duo that the Lions have seen since the Super Bowl era as far as in success on wins. Okay, and I know I had a little technical difficulties, especially if you are watching on Twitch. I did have a little technical difficulties with the way it was spelled, and I was trying to change things at the last minute, but I was unable to. Um, Please make sure any comments or anything that you want to add to the show. Anybody who wants to be a part of the show, please let me know. Uh, so um, here's what I think that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell needs to accomplish in order to be the best GM, the best coach combo there is. All right, as far as the Lions have had in the Super Bowl era. Okay, so of course, if there's anybody watching and has any comments, please let me know. Uh, this right off. But yeah, I got no viewers, of course, right now because I didn't advertise it, which I should have. But what do you want to do? Here's what I think that they need to do in order uh, to be that upper echelon, the elite. Number one, they got to win more than one playoff games. Hey, welcome to 10th Maniac Sports. Um, Thank you for coming to watch. Uh, and yeah, what I want to see is Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. They got to, of course, win the NFC North. That's something that has not been done, but yet alone it is not enough. It is if you're going for a culture change that we've been hearing about ever since Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell has been our coach. If you're going for a culture change that they're talking about, then you got to win more than the NFC North. You got to at least win a playoff game. Now, Coach Wayne Fonts did that already. Uh, didn't win the NFC North, but won the NFC Central. And some people would argue that maybe the NFC Central might have been a little bit tougher than the NFC North because it was more opened up. You didn't have just Green Bay winning all the time. It wasn't a yearly deal. Yes, Green Bay dominated wins in the NFC North, but uh, the NFC, we also had another team or another team in our division at the time when it was the NFC Central. So, in my opinion, in order for Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes to be the best combination to succeed, number one, you need to win the NFC North more than once. All right. Uh, we've been talking about establishing a culture, a winning culture, a winning attitude, and that's what we want to see. We definitely want to see that for sure. But we want to see them win more than one playoff game. You know, uh, I know there's another round to the playoffs. There's been, but we seen uh, really not Dan Campbell do it, but we seen when Wayne Fonts was there that he won. That him and Miles Davis and them won the they made it to the NFC Championship game. So in order to they gotta at least make it to the NFC Championship game. Uh, Now if they make it to the NFC Championship game, then that gonna really mean that they have established, and then they cannot go ahead and the very next year fall apart. That's another thing they can't do. Uh, I don't really know. Hey, thank you for tuning in to Maniac Sports. This is Tim's Maniac Sports. Just trying out a new time here to see how it works. Uh, Detroit Lions on the Prowl uh, was the had the original time spot here, so I wasn't doing it at this time then. But what I'm talking about and is we got to we really got to look at. Hey Tristan, how's it going? Glad to have you join. Hey, how about them Tigers? I've been seeing you've been posting a lot about the Tigers on Tim's Maniac Sports page. I appreciate that. Any question? What do you think? Okay, Tristan, what do you think Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell needs to accomplish in your eyes in order to be the best head coach and general manager combo? As far as my expectation is what I'm saying is I think that they need to win the NFC North. I would like to see them win it more than one time, of course. And of course, you gotta win at least one playoff game because we've seen it before. And I know you may not, you're a little young to have seen this, but when way back in the '90s was when Fonts went ahead and they had to run and shoot, and they actually made it to uh, the NFC Championship game. So I would like to see them do that. Now, with one more game, it does make it in some ways a little bit easier because you got one more game to accomplish that to get into playoffs. But then it's also a little bit harder because there's an extra round of the playoffs than what it was back then, So there's more playoff teams. And also, I don't want to see them because like after that year that when they won it, I don't want to see the Lions. I want to see the Lions be more stable at winning. All right, okay. All right, okay. I think they need to win as many games to make the playoffs, and I want them to win the NFC North as well. Cool. And yeah, that does add a lot of credibility, for sure. I want to see it. And how big would it be if the Lions start out with a win in Kansas City? I mean, I know that's a lot to ask because Kansas City being the current Super Bowl champions, I definitely know that's a lot to ask. But if they're actually growing like we're saying they're growing, and like we want to see them prove, that would be huge to start off the NFC or the NFL season, the first game to go into Kansas City and actually beat Kansas City at Kansas City. That would start off the season right. I would, oh man, I would just die to see that. I would almost die to see that. I I remember, shoot, and as you can see, I am definitely getting excited about that. So it's just yeah. Okay. That would be amazing. Heck yeah, sure as heck would be amazing. Yeah. It's not it's not easy for us. No, it's not. But you know what? Good teams and and see, this is what the Lions are trying to establish. This is what a culture change means, and if we're looking for them to actually be changing the culture from being this old culture of I don't care that we win, uh, to a team that will just go ahead and shove losses down people's throats. Yeah, we do have potential, definitely. Uh there's you know another thing you need to be able to do. Every team's gonna have weaknesses, okay? Every team. I don't care what there is, but you need to be able to overcome your weaknesses and not let the weaknesses kill you. And uh as we've seen in the past, that the Lions have in the past, and other teams, not only Lions, have went ahead, and if there's one weakness on one part, because they can go ahead and have the best offense, the best defense, the best running game there is, but then you can have like a bad secondary, and they'll go ahead and kill you at that. The other teams will be able to exploit that weakness and beat you by that. What the Lions need to do in order to, I mean, sure, you're always going to have weaknesses. I don't care what team you are you're always going to have, but you got to be able to exploit the other team's weaknesses and not let your weaknesses kill you. I mean, yeah, you may falter, you may end up having a, having a, you know, touchdown scores, but that cannot just go ahead and actually kill you at the end. So in order to have this culture change, that we got to have a winning culture, and it's figuring out ways to win, and they've been competitive. They were competitive the last few years. Uh, they made they nearly, they didn't make the playoffs. Last year. Well, they haven't made the playoffs since Jim Caldwell, of course. But they were competing in the NFC. A lot of the teams were right up there. Where if we would have been like in the NFC South, Lions would have made the playoffs. By a playoff win. Okay, they can't figure out Yeah, they can't figure out our weaknesses. Yeah, true. They can't. Exactly. 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 We got, we got to, yeah, disguise that and change our, be able to make adjustments. Or, another thing is making those adjustments that if they go ahead and they start, if they figure something out, you know, uh, I know I used to watch wrestling a lot. I hardly watch it anymore now because of my work time schedule. But in wrestling, there used to be uh, one of the tag teams used to have sayings. Just when you think you have all the answers, we change the questions. And basically in your game plan, in your strategy, you got to be able to, if they figure out a weakness, you got to be able to change that so that they don't have that figured out anymore. You got to be able to actually, yeah, change your, change the answers or change the questions if they have all the answers, is what I'm trying to say. Um, yeah, uh, everybody, yeah, thank you for coming, for watching Tim's Main Exports. And I also want to give a great shout out to Tristan. Tristan is a great friend of the show, a great help. And he's really posting a lot of stuff on both my page, which is Main Exports, and also my group. So I really want to thank him publicly on here for doing that stuff. He's been a real great friend, and he also has helped a lot of people. So everybody, yeah, yes, and that's true. You do share my lives as well, lives. Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. So definitely, he's a great Lions fan, great all around Detroit fan. He's also a Tiger fan too. I'm a Tiger fan. Um, I don't go to the games as much. Uh, you're welcome. Uh, what do you think about the new hiring about the Pistons head coach? I didn't. Yeah, I know they hired a new guy. I didn't do much research on him. I know, but um, I know he was just fired. So, uh, but like I say, the main exports is more than just the Detroit Lions. It's all inclusive in sports. I I did watch the Michigan Panthers game. Uh, at least part of it yesterday. When I started out watching it, Michigan had 0 points. Okay, they did end up coming back. They ended up getting close, but they didn't win. Uh, yeah, I know you also like the Red Wings and Michigan teams as well. I have not played too much. You have not paid too much attention to the Pistons. Okay, that's fair. Yep. I mean, yeah, you're so the um, Red Wings. How many years do you think the Red Wings got before they're actually contenders? I did hear something where the not to change the subject back, but I should finish this statement as far as for um, the Michigan Panthers. The Michigan Panthers did end up coming back. They didn't win, but they ended up dropping that one 24-20. Uh, it's I'm also going to try to go to the game on the 16th. I'm supposed to be going with a friends of mine on June. No, not the 16th, June 18th. That's I'm supposed to be going with friends of mine on June 18th to go see the Michigan Panthers play. Uh, okay. Now switching to the Red. Hey, thank you everybody for coming, watching, and joining in on Tim's Maniac Sports. Whether you're watching it on YouTube or Twitch right now, I don't have it playing on Facebook this time. I had some technical issues with that right now. But thank you for coming. Any questions, comment at uh, right now? Talking with Tristan. He's the Lions fan, Tiger fan, and a Red Wings fan. And this question I asked him, how long does he think is going to take the pit or the Red Wings to be contenders? It might take a minute before they figure it out. Yeah. Uh, what do you think, um, Stevie Eiserman? Yeah, how would you rate his job as being the GM for the Pistons? He's still the GM, right? I know it was a while ago. I'm not totally up on hockey, but how would you rate him overall? I know it's been a GM for at least a couple of years now. Um, you know, anybody who knows the Pistons, or not the Pistons, the Red Wings at all, knows, he was the face of the Red Wings for a long time. But yeah, like, subscribe. This I'm gonna be trying to do a show every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays for now at 11 a.m. in the morning. Um, just going to try to grow these lives. Trying to find guests and also topics. Okay. I want to say he's an okay GM. Okay. All right. That's fair. He's been there for what's this? Is this going to be his third season coming up, or his fourth season as GM? Yeah. Um, I just figure, and I just want to keep this kind of as like a tradition, because Detroit Lions on the Prowl has changed their schedule. We all know, and so uh, yeah, I want to try to keep it going. I don't know how long it will. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be a full hour at this time every time, but I do want to get some more content too. Uh, but yeah, so uh, okay, yeah, I appreciate you. Not positive. Okay, so you're not. Okay, you're not positive on how long he's been the GM. I know that, and I'm just. I remember me and uh, I remember Jim and I talking about him when he was brought in and stuff, and so I know it's been a few years now, at least 3 years, or this will be his third year coming up, at least, or maybe his fourth year as GM. But of course, then there's some people about there's some people that make better players than there's some people that make better players than they do general managers, or head coaches. There's some people that can do both. I'm in all forms. I'm not knocking the guy. Um, I mean, uh, But just because he was a great player does not mean the great GM. But hey, every GM has salary caps to work with. If this would have, who knows what he could have did with the team back when the salary cap wasn't so strong in the NHL like it is now. I know that. I remember when the Red Wings were horrible. I remember when they came, when in the '80s when they ended up really starting to get good, and you know when they brought in the Russian national team in order to be the Sergei Fedorov. I of course Steve Eiserman played there. Lindstrom, you know, all different ones. And I remember at one point they had to the Red Wings, Detroit Red Wings were so good that that they were they had to change the salary cap in order to make it fair to the other teams. And Mike Elish, when he was alive, he was willing to spend the money to get the people in and stuff like that, and to have winning franchise. Um, Another thing that Mike Elish, of course, Mike Elish also owned the Detroit Tigers. The Elish family, and if I'm saying wrong, I'm sorry, but they own the Detroit um, Detroit Tigers. They own now when they bought the Tigers way back when from Tom Manahan, which was another pizza home owner, um, Domino's pizza owner, but when Little Caesars owners bought them, um, way back when the English families used to own another team, and this was before your time, Tristan. So I'm not going to ask you that question, but I'm just going to. This is they ended up actually closing down this team when they bought the Tigers, and it was a Detroit Drive. Um, the English family owned the Detroit Drive, and the Detroit Drive was a arena football league or arena football team in the Arena Football League. Um, so they owned them, and back then the Detroit Drive, I think they won like 4 arena championships or something like that back then. So they were a good team. So the Illich family has always tried to spend the money to get you know the good players in, to make them competitive. Now I know it's been a long time since the Tigers have been really really competitive. I know it's been a minute since the Red Wings have been competitive. But it's just sports. Sports has its way of doing things. Um, and salary caps. When you have salary caps, you got to go by that. And one bad move in a salary cap can cost you. One of the reasons I am not for fully guaranteed contracts for anybody, is that I think everybody needs a incentive in order, in your contract, because if you do better than what is expected, then I think you deserve that type of a bonus for doing it. If you do worse, you know, then you don't deserve that extra, incentive. That's, so that I'm not for myself, I'm not for fully guaranteed contracts. I'm not trying to be in, I'm just trying to, and the reason why I'm personally make that um, claim is because of the fact that I just think that when there's more on the line, when you can get more by your performance, uh, that's that's how you produce. I know we are coming up on it is the half hour right now. Now I I actually want to get other people's feelings, and one of the questions that I want to put out there today, and I would like people to comment and maybe comment later on in the page and stuff about what do you think that if there is a team that is in a rebuilding mode or a team that's always been bad, do you think they, I mean, you get complimentary picks and stuff when you lose players and stuff like that. But do you think that the hard cap rule that we have right now in the NFL, that everybody gets the same cap and all that stuff, do you think that if you're actually trying to rebuild and you actually in order to get other people to come to a team where the market is not as good, do you think that there should be a special salary cap for incentive to get these people to the not so goodest team so that it would make it easier? Because I mean, you know, it, if you're gonna, it's a lot easier to get a free agent to go to a team where where you have the possibility of winning a Super Bowl, and you might need to pay them less than what you would uh, for this same person to go to a struggling team that has always struggled. Is what I'm saying. Should there be a revolving salary cap? Should there be kind of like a handicap salary cap if you were bad? But of course, would that cause teams to tank during the year to go ahead and get that? So it opens up a whole new bag of worms and stuff like that too. But I'm going to end this today. Just let me know what you guys think, and also in the comments, I will try to look at them more. Just let me know what you would like me to look into and talk about. I will definitely be back on Wednesday at 11 o'clock a.m. So please join me. Also looking for guests to the show. Thank you very much. This is Maniac Tim from Maniac Sports. Everybody have a great day, and thanks once again. Like, subscribe, and share.